That was Threshold with Coda. I already threw away my list, and I need it as a reference. Off of the CD March of Progress, the keyword there is March, because I've been playing songs about marching as dedicated to graduation that was going on this weekend in town and last weekend at Ivy Tech, and will be coming up for VHS in a few weeks. So lots of graduations and marching going on. So you heard Luca Trilla's Rhapsody doing a cover of Halloween's March of Time off of Ascending to Infinity, and Camelot with March of Mephisto off of The Black Halo. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and you are listening to Mostly Metal and about to be listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. And so we're just about to switch over from the music part to the talk and the wrestling part, and I'm really excited to have in the studio my special guest, the Polish heartthrob Jaron Skalka.
Dzień dobry, Ken. Thanks for having me tonight.
I'm pleased to have you here. What does that mean?
Dzień dobry is greeting, hello in Polish.
Okay, excellent. As I was mentioning, I tried to come up with some music to play you in properly, like you get when you enter the ring. And I couldn't find anything at the last minute that sounded exciting enough, so the best I can do is this. I set that up, and then I pressed the wrong button. Good grief. Okay, well, here's the proper introduction to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, and when that is done, we'll get started.
Your insubordination will not be tolerated.
Well, this is pretty good timing, managing to start this up right at the top of the hour. You are now listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and it's time to talk wrestling. With me is the Polish heartthrob, Jaron Skalka. Thanks again for coming in.
No, thank you for having me again. This is an honor and a privilege to be here and discuss wrestling and my career with you, so I'm very excited.
Great, thanks. And that's exactly what we're going to do for the next while. We'll talk about what you've had going on in the region. And then at about 9:25, I'm going to start playing what I call delayed audio coverage of the Revolution Championship Wrestling event that took place this past Friday in Mishawaka, called The Golden Opportunity, that you were on. And so we'll get to hear a few sounds from your match, and maybe you can talk about that specific match at that time. And then once that's done, I'm just going to let the rest of the recap play out until the end of the hour, so that folks that weren't there can listen to what happened and at least catch some of the highlights. And so at least we'll be chatting here for hopefully the next 20 minutes, although I have to tell you, I mentioned that I've been dealing with some graduations on campus this weekend, and I'm exhausted. So I'm counting on you to pull the weight here. I'll ask you a question, and then you just go for like 15 minutes, okay? No.
All right, I'll take the ball and run with it.
Okay, there we go. So first of all, you are known as the Polish heartthrob. Now, who named you that? Did you name yourself that? Was it an ex-girlfriend, or where did that come from?
No, actually, it's a funny story. So it actually came from my trainer. So when I got my foot in the door in the pro wrestling business and started training, my trainer asked me, well, what kind of character, what kind of gimmick do you want to portray? And I said, well, I have Polish heritage. Mm-hmm. I've always wanted to be a Polish character, similar to Ivan Putski. Uh-huh. I idolized him growing up. I was always tan and always considered a pretty boy by some, not personally. I don't consider myself a pretty boy, but that's just the persona I portray. And he just out of the blue said, Polish heartthrob. I'm like, well, no, that just sounds way too cheesy. And he said, nope, you're the Polish heartthrob. We're gonna bring you on the next show, and you're gonna be the Polish heartthrob. Mm-hmm. So made my debut, and kind of I've been evolving that character ever since. Really taking it to heart, and portraying my heritage proudly, and kind of molding it into what it's become now.
Yeah, he was a smart guy, because from what I can tell, it works. I mean, people really seem to catch on to you very quickly.
Yeah, I strike a light with a lot of crowds, especially in this area with a lot of Polish heritage. With the fans, they react very well. They embrace the polka music and all the gimmick and cheesiness of what I come out to.
Maybe you should do like a New Day thing and come out not with pancakes but with plates of pierogies and
throw in some cheese pierogi. Yeah, that's a good idea. Not bad. I might have to steal that.
There you go. I won't charge you for it. So you were talking about training and getting your foot in the door. At least from my perspective, I have not seen you work in this region for a long time, but in the more recent window, I've seen you several times in various places. So there's kind of been this burst of activity. So talk a little bit about just when you started, where you started, and how have you evolved to being in this area?
Well, I've been in this area my whole life, born and raised. Started wrestling in 2010 is when I began training. And wrestling's always been a passion of mine. I've grown up, idolizing Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, The Rock. Always wanted to wrestle. And fast forward to 2010, I saw a posting for a local promotion that was offering a training seminar, and reached out, got in touch with a gentleman, and he invited me to come, and it was actually a training seminar with the late great Larry Sweeney, Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney of Ring of Honor, and he passed away a couple years ago. But I attended that seminar and kind of got hooked, and started training with that promotion. They ran a training school before they disbanded, but 2010 started off hot, gangbusters. 2011 suffered an injury in 2011. I had a 5th degree AC separation in my right shoulder. I was wrestling in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and talk about a painful injury. Couldn't take any anything to ease the pain up there because I had to drive home. But regardless, I'm getting off on a tangent here. But
that's okay. We have time.
That was kind of my first hiatus after that injury. It took about a year off. Came back in 2012. Worked 2012 through 2013, and then life kind of got in the way. I was going to graduate school, finishing up my MBA. Wrestling kind of fell by the wayside. And between 2013 and actually 2018, there was a few appearances I made, but for the most part, I was inactive for just about 3.5 years.
Okay.
And then it's a funny story. Last September, Revolution Championship Wrestling. It's basically my home promotion. I consider.
Great.
They reached out to me, and they were running a battle royal. The South Bend Royal is a Royal Rumble.
The Revolution
type.
Rumble.
Revolution Rumble. I'm sorry. Yeah. And they asked, hey, we want a surprise entrant, and would you be interested in coming? And I kicked it around, and I said, what the heck? We'll give it a shot. So donned the spandex once more, got in the ring, and just fell in love with the whole scene again. And ever since last September, I've been going gangbusters and trying to get on as many shows as I can in the area, and loving every minute of it.
That's great. Yeah, and so that that meshes well with it. That kind of my observation that I'm glad I wasn't going crazy, that you had been really active for a long time, and I should have seen you over and over and over. But in this past year or so, that's when and it must be from RCW. I think I've seen you at the Wicked Pro Wrestling show.
Yes,
it was here in Valpo actually.
Correct. Yeah,
a couple of months ago. Any other regional promotions that you work with?
I work for EHF Entertainment out of South Bend. I'll be making my debut at Backbreaker Wrestling, based out of Griffith.
Oh, okay.
I'm very excited to make my debut there June 1st.
Okay, June 1st, yeah.
I work a lot of shows for Pro Wrestling King, Extreme Sports Entertainment. They're kind of one and the same. I've worked shows for Brew City Wrestling up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay.
And various other, hit and miss federations throughout the area.
Has that been sort of that maybe going to Wisconsin? Has that sort of been the extent of the largest radius you've gone, or have you really traveled far for a show just to see what it's like at any point?
I have not had the opportunity to travel abroad or domestically outside of the Midwest.
Sure, okay.
So Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan primarily.
Okay. That's still, I mean, you're still racking up some good mileage going to lots of those places.
A lot of hours spent on the road, but comes with the territory.
What's the largest number of shows you've done in a single weekend so far?
That's a good question. You're bringing the hard balls tonight. I think it's probably 3 shows.
More than one, less than 10, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, three in a weekend. I think is probably the most I've done, and that's pushing it. Just recently, back at the end of April, I did 2 shows in one night. Luckily, they were within close proximity of each other, so it wasn't too bad. But it's a grind if you start stacking up bookings and overbooking yourself.
There's a couple of people that I've seen in this area that will have a couple of shows on the same night, several counties away, and they arrange it so they're kind of on the early end of one show and the later end of the other show. But even still, I don't know how they pull that off successfully so many times. It's amazing how fast they can get back and forth.
A lot of coordination, and we won't talk about the speeding or how we get to and from
right
in a safe manner.
Well, since it is graduation season, even though it's been a few years, congratulations on the NBA. And I'm curious to know, was there any time when there was an overlap between doing the wrestling and doing your graduate work? And if so, like, how did people react? Oh, I can't work on the homework with you guys Friday night because I'm wrestling somebody.
There were a couple shows that I took on while I was obtaining that MBA. And in my cohort, I was in a small knit group. There was, I think, 15 of us, and no matter where I go, whether it's work, if I change jobs or school, everyone finds out that I wrestle through just Google searches or it comes up.
Yeah.
So they find out inevitably. But everybody for the most part, they're very encouraging, and they want to know more about my wrestling persona and my career, and they're very supportive. So, yeah, there were a couple shows while I was getting, going to graduate school, and my cohort did come out and support me.
Oh, that's good.
And cheered me on. So,
nice.
We had a lot of fun.
You get good family support, or do they look at you at Thanksgiving like you're crazy?
A mixture of both.
Okay.
No, they're supportive. They come to shows, and I always play back my matches for them. We'll sit in the living room at my parents' house, and we'll watch and yuck it up and crack a few jokes at my expense. But they're very supportive and very appreciative for.
They're probably also your best critics, I would imagine, too.
yeah, especially my mom. She's very opinionated.
Son, you got to work on that arm bar now. Come on.
They're very supportive.
So for somebody that hasn't seen one of your matches, how would you describe your style? Like in a Polish heartthrob match, what can somebody expect to see?
I would consider myself a technical wrestler. I don't do a lot of. You won't see me do a 450 splash off the top rope. I do some high risk maneuvers, but for the most part, I'm ground based. Traditional style, Greco-Roman, old school wrestling. Nothing too flashy or fancy. Just it's a fight, and I'm there to take my opponent out with Polish power.
Yeah. Now, what's your favorite part? The entrance to the ring or the match itself? Because you do get a. I've been to shows where there's a crowd that's been lively the whole time, and I've been there where they've been a little bit suppressed, and it seems like every time I've seen you come out, that will jack the energy of the crowd pretty fast. And so I imagine you get some really good feedback out of that.
I do. My entrance, I enjoy my entrance very much. So it kind of pumps me up for my match, gets the crowd engaged, gets them behind me. You know, I do the whole shtick, the polka music, the dancing, twirling a young lady around in the crowd, a very lucky young lady, if I might add. Taking the traditional shot of Polish vodka, you know, cheers, Nostrovia, and as we say in Polish, and then tossing that shot glass to a lucky fan, usually you know, a child.
Hopefully, I was going to say, hopefully somebody over 21.
Yeah. Oh, here. Yeah. No, don't talk about me throwing shot glasses to kids, but no, it's all in good
They're
fun.
empty by then.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
No, but it may seem like you know, I'm all fun and games, but when I get in the ring, it's serious business. And I'm there to, like I said, whoop some dupa and show some Polish power.
Yeah. Now, I think your entrance, when I try to compare it to other people's, I mean, the character of it is totally different in the way that you interact with the crowd, but just the way that the crowd reacts to it. And, you know, you, like you said, you kind of make a circuit and you make sure to interact with a lot of people all the way around, which is really cool. The other person that makes me think of is Ames. I don't know if you like being with EHF. So again, it's totally different, but to me, he has kind of the same reaction as well. I would put you guys in the same kind of group of ability to get the crowd pumped up.
I would agree. Ames is a very talented wrestler in this area. I highly respect him, and his character and the way he portrays himself in the ring, and how he gets reactions from fans, sometimes questionable or you know, risque, but very enjoyable, very entertaining, and that's what it's all about. The fans come to support us. It's our job to put on a show and give them their money's worth.
Yeah.
So that's what it's all about.
Now, you describe a couple of your signature or finishing moves. You kind of have some fun wordplay going on in there, right? You have the is it the pole lock? Is that what I hear?
The pole lock, yeah. That's my finishing, my signature finishing maneuver, submission hold, which is basically a full Nelson abdominal stretch combination. It kind of just clicked in my head. It's similar to the master lock. That's kind of where I played it off of, and it was kind of molded with a modification with that abdominal stretch. But you know, play on words, but it gets the crowd going when I start chanting pole lock, lock, and then cinch it in, and before you know it, that opponent's tapping out.
And for anybody listening, you can say, what are they doing on WVLP? There's a dash in there, right?
Yeah, POLE-LOCK.
Exactly.
In quotation marks.
Right. By the way, thank you for being willing to miss Money in the Bank, or at least part of Money in the Bank, to be here tonight.
I'm heartbroken. No, it's all in good fun, but I'll stream it later on.
Exactly.
No spoilers, please.
I miss all of these, but it's okay because then I can go back and just fast forward through to the good parts.
Absolutely.
Or Game of Thrones, right?
Game of Thrones, American Idol. You know, we've got a lot of competition tonight.
Yeah,
but I'm sure the Polskamaniacs are coming out in droves to tune in tonight.
And and that's a good reminder. The 2-hour block that here on WVLP, that's mostly metal, and the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, live Sunday from 8 to 10. Replays Wednesday 10 to midnight, and then the wrestling portion of it, like this, where we're talking, will go up on YouTube. And so if people do follow you on Facebook, at some point soon there will be a link flying around where they can go back and listen to this.
Oh, great!
And
definitely.
you can forward that around. Unless I screw something up with the recording, but hopefully it's going well. So if maybe I've got a list of upcoming shows, and I know you already touched on a couple of them, but just as general a part of the show and, you know, service to the wrestling community or whatever it is, I do like to run down some upcoming shows. And it sounds like you'll be on a few of these. So maybe if you have some information about who you might be facing or whatever, we can get into anything you're able to get into. Actually, I had to edit my sheet real fast because this was actually last night. But FWF, Functified Wrestling Federation, have you gotten out there yet?
I have not had the pleasure of working one of those.
I mean, it is in Warsaw, after all.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a...
that's a natural.
Yeah, natural fit for me.
And they a lot of the people that you see in, you know, like PWK, and there's a lot of overlap out there too. So it's kind of a haul from here. It's about an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half, but it's still the kind of the same community of people that you see in a lot like RCW shows and things like that.
Correct.
The one you did mention, Saturday, June 1st, Backbreaker Wrestling in Griffith. The show is called On the Ropes, and that will start at 6 o'clock. This is Central Time. St. Mary Hildebrandt Hall in Griffith. Do you have any information that you can share about like who you might be facing?
Yes, absolutely. As I said, I'll be making my debut for Backbreaker, which I'm very excited. And I will be stepping into the ring with the one and only Richie Rothschild.
Oh, boy.
Polish Heartthrob versus Rothschild one-on-one. And I'm pretty sure we can guarantee that at the end of that match, he'll be tapping out to the Polak.
That's going to be an interesting clash of styles with your higher energy, and he's very slow and methodical, but he's dangerously slow and methodical. So that's an interesting juxtaposition there.
I'm looking forward to it very much so. So June 1st. June's actually going to be a very busy month for me. I have multiple shows. June 15th, EHF Entertainment. Live from the Century Center in South Bend, Indiana. There'll be more information featured for that event coming soon, I'm sure, from EHF Entertainment. So just stay tuned and check out their Facebook for more information on the June 15th show. June 22nd, Honored Pro Wrestling. They are having a benefit event called Bubba Strong. This is to support, and the proceeds will go towards medical and surgery expenses for little Bubba, John Michael Ray Markham. Tickets are $10, and this is in Niles, Michigan, at Fisher's Tips and Chips Barbecue.
What was the date of that one?
This is June 22nd.
Okay, so that's different than the PWK Summer Bash at Fisher's Tips and Chips in Niles, Michigan, which I have on June 8th. And I wasn't sure so you said you had worked with PWK, so I wasn't sure if you might be at that one.
I will not be at that event, but yes, same location, Pro Wrestling King having an event there June 8th, as you said.
Yeah.
And then Honored Pro, June 22nd at Fisher's.
So I don't know who Fisher's is, but he must be a wrestling fan.
I don't know if he has a Polish sausage there or pierogi, but I'll keep my fingers crossed. After the 22nd, June 29th, Pro Wrestling King, live from Kazopolis Village Hall in Kazopolis, Michigan. They will be having a show. Tickets start at $5. Actually, all tickets are $5. Veterans receive free admission, and this is during the Pioneer Days, I believe. Must be a local community festival hosted by Kazopolis. So come check out Pro Wrestling King, June 29th, Kazopolis. And finally, wrapping up the month for me, June 30th, Wicked Pro Wrestling will be coming to you live from Inman's.
Yes.
Fun and Activity Center here in Valparaiso. So definitely a local show. If you haven't seen the Polish Heartthrob in action, you want to come out to that event on June 30th.
Yeah, Inman's. There's been a while since we've had wrestling at Inman's. Wicked Pro did the show a couple of months ago at Zow Island.
Yes.
Which was, that was a good place too with their new center there. But I'm sure they get booked up for all sorts of events at that place. So
I'm sure.
The folks that run Inman, Sean Shishelsky, I know is the general manager there, is a wrestling fan and has been open to having wrestling there. So I'm really glad to see that it's coming back to Inman's. If I can, I'll make my own announcement about that show.
Oh,
because John Rose Kleist has mentioned it on Facebook, and not with trumpets and everything, but the ring announcer is going to be me.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Whoa.
So he asked. I'm not trying to break into the ring announcer business, but he asked, "Hey, we're looking for a special guest ring announcer, and we thought you'd be great for that." And I was like, "Well, okay, I'll give it a try." So.
And usually pre-show, the ring announcer has to spend like 10 minutes personally with me trying to dissect my name and pronounce it correctly. So you already have a leg up for the 30th.
All right.
The Polish Heartthrob, Jaron Skelka from Krakow, Poland.
And if you just line up some of those shot glasses, my tongue will loosen and get much better at it.
I'll be sure to bring extra.
Yeah. Well, that was good because I think you hit just almost every show that I have on my list. Another one I have There's like you name. I already have 2 of them listed on June 15th, and you listed another one. So that's going to be one of those weekends where just that everybody's running on the same night. So I'll save that one for later, not to overload June 15th. And when we at the RCW show on Friday, they made announcements about their next 2 shows. On July 2nd, they'll be at the St. Joseph's County Fair. That's a Tuesday night, actually. If you pay to get in the fair, then you can see the wrestling show for free. I don't know if you know whether or not.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I thought you were going to ask me if I was going to be in attendance that evening.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I won't. But.
Okay. And then they have their fundraiser, the 11th annual Slam Cancer Benefit Show. I believe that was July 20th.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I won't be able to make that event either. And that's one of my favorite events that they put on every year. And so I'm kind of bummed that I won't be able to make that one. But that's correct.
You'll be there in spirit.
I will be.
That's good. Let's see. I have a couple more minutes. One of the things I've done with past guests that's kind of fun is play a quick game of 10 questions. Are you game for this?
Oh, absolutely.
We'll bounce back and forth between just silly things and wrestling things. Okay, so just to start off easy, pepperoni or sausage?
Ooh, sausage.
All right.
Polish sausage. Come on.
Yeah, duh. Would you rather work in front of a crowd that's small but noisy, or really big but a little bit quiet?
I'll take small and noisy any day. Getting that interaction, that feedback from the fans, that's what we feed on. That's what we thrive for.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Excellent. Good. That's the correct answer. Would you rather have a match, if it's not going to end cleanly, would you rather it end in a no contest or a double DQ finish?
I'll take double DQ. That shows that both competitors were just enraged and in the moment and throw the rules out the window.
Sure.
And we're it's a slobber knocker, as JR would say.
Sure.
Copyright.
Marvel or DC?
Marvel, I suppose.
I think so.
I'm actually a Star Wars guy, but if I had to choose, it's Marvel.
Well, Marvel has the Star Wars comics, so you're still
that's true, yeah.
You're still safe. Would you rather wrestle a quick match that you win or a really long match that you lose?
I'll take quick and the victory.
The victory?
Absolutely.
Okay. Would you rather do yard work or housework?
Ooh, I love them both, actually. I'm
really?
crazy. Yes.
Okay.
I'm an OCD neat freak, and give me it all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Actually, today was a housework and yard work day, so I knocked
Very
it all
good.
out.
My wife does the outside stuff, and I concentrate on the inside stuff. But I'm kind of the same way. I'm always tidying and wiping and things like that. So would you rather have a cage? If you're going to have a crazy match, would you rather have a cage match or a Falls Count Anywhere match?
Ooh, I'll take the cage match.
Have you had one yet?
I have. Oh, it's been several years.
Is that the one where you hurt your shoulder?
No. That was in a match with Ames, though. I know we mentioned. About him earlier. He was that opponent that he ravaged me.
Okay. Well, that was 8 questions, but I think we'll stop there. You got at least 7 right, I think.
Oh, okay.
And maybe even a tie in there. So that was a good score. Well done. I want to make sure I have time to play the delayed audio coverage of the RCW show. So I'm going to break into that for a second. So what I'll do is I'll start that audio, and it'll play for a few minutes, and we'll hear about you very quickly because you were in the first match. So give it 4 or 5 minutes. We'll break in, talk about that match and anything else that might be coming up as a result of that, or just one more summary of your activities in general, and then I'll just let the audio play for the rest of the hour to hear the rest of that show.
Sounds great.
Okay, great. So again, you're listening to the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. Ken the Metal Professor with special guest, the Polish heartthrob, Jaron Skalka. It actually took me a while to realize it was Jaron and not Jared, because when it's being announced, sometimes it's hard to tell. It is Jaron, right?
Even in the
ring. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So what you're going to hear now is audio captured Friday night at Revolution Championship Wrestling Show Golden Opportunity in Mishawaka, Indiana. And once we get to the point where the Polish heartthrob has had his match, we'll break back in and chat about it for just a sec. It is just a couple of minutes before the top of the hour. I'm Ken the Metal Professor, and I'm sitting in the Battelle Center in Mishawaka, Indiana, waiting for the start of Revolution Championship Wrestling Show, A Golden Opportunity. It is Friday, May 17th, and here in Mishawaka it's 7 o'clock, so 6 o'clock Valpo time, but that doesn't matter because this is getting recorded and trimmed down and broadcast for you on the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program. Originally Sunday night at 9, and then there's always a replay of Mostly Metal and the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program Wednesday night from 10 to 12. So this 2-hour block has heavy metal to start you, and then often something about independent wrestling in the region to follow up. And here you have a live audio recap, or it's not live, it's a delayed audio recap of the RCW event coming up in minutes. So you'll get to hear lots of things that went on during the show. And if you were not able to be here, then you'll know what you missed. And if you were able to be here, you can relive the highlights.
This is Golden Opportunity. This is RCW. We've got one heck of a show for you this evening, but to kick it off, will you please welcome the owner of RCW, Mr. J.B. Blackwell.
Ring announcer Ryan Anderson is in the ring, getting the show started. Not with a match, but with an introduction of RCW's owner.
Welcome to RCW's Golden Opportunity. Thank you for being here.
He has already been interrupted by Jorge Bravo.
You think I care what you beat your federal steam? I don't see what people. So the last time, it's not like you, the last time I was here, I mean, I was cheating. I didn't know I was going to have a toothpick as a partner. So, I think they want to see the overtime. I need another chance. And since you're the owner, you're going to give me a chance. Because I didn't really, it was a hardest haul. But I'll tell you what, you give me a chance tonight, I'm going to get my contract spot. But if you don't give me my spot, every RCW show that's going to happen, with all these stupid pedals around, I'm going to interfere. I'm going to tear it up. I don't care who you bring in. I don't care if you bring in Moose. I don't care. Moose's guys will be gone next time. What? Ned, who's the man of it? Rush Jones, Fernandez? I might get involved in that. It'd be best for business. See me out my contract. So, you want a contract with RCW? You think I should get one? You know what? Since tonight is the golden opportunity, I will give you the opportunity. You win, you get a contract. So ladies and gentlemen, your opponent is coming out right now. Hit his music. Jorge Bravo.
And so the Polish heartthrob Jared Skalka is in the ring with Jorge Bravo for the first match, and I'm probably going to jinx it because this is getting recorded Friday night before Sunday night. But with any luck, the Polish heartthrob will be in the VLP studios right now. That was unexpected. I was trying to refresh my screen and it actually shut it down. Well, at least we got to where your match started.
Yeah.
There wasn't going to be a whole lot of sound after that. It would have faded out and then come right back at the end. You were victorious, right?
I was. Yeah. Jorge Bravo. He tapped out to the pole lock.
Excellent. So we got a sample of, you could hear the crowd respond when your music hit. And now, after our conversations, I wish that I had left a lot more of that music in there. But folks can imagine, who are listening, can imagine, that music playing and you're kind of going around the ring and everybody's getting happy. And that's the way it goes.
Yeah, they caught a glimpse of it. You'll have to come to an upcoming show to experience Polskamania live and in person.
Right. Always leave them wanting more, as they say.
Absolutely.
And it probably having you come out and get Jorge Bravo out of there for the second time in 2 shows where he's come out and run his mouth.
Poor guy. He just wants a contract so bad, but not at my expense.
That you're like the
Sorry.
RCW enforcer now.
Well, yeah. Somebody has to. Why not Polish Power?
So that was good. So was that in terms of do you like working at the beginning of a show, middle, end? Do you have a preference?
I really don't have a preference. Well, I guess if I had to pick, I would like to go on, first. I do enjoy kicking off a show. The crowd, they're ready to go. They're lively. They've got all their energy.
Yeah.
By the time they get to main events, sometimes the shows, they drag on, or they can go.
They do
that. They can't become marathons, unfortunately. But yeah, if I had to choose, I would like to start shows off with a bang and a victory, of course.
All right. Okay, so one more time, your next most immediate appearance around here is going to be June 1st?
June 1st, Backbreaker Wrestling, Griffith, followed by EHF Entertainment, June 15th, South Bend, and June 22nd for Honored Pro Wrestling in Kazopolis. I lost my schedule.
And
Pro Wrestling King was in Kazopolis. Honored Pro Wrestling on the 22nd was Niles. And then right here in Valparaiso, June 30th, Wicked Pro Wrestling Inmans.
That's going to be awesome. Do you have social media that people should follow if they want to keep up with you?
Absolutely. I have a Facebook page, The Polish Heartthrob. Please visit that and like. I'd appreciate the support. I have a Twitter at The Polish Heartthrob. And I also have a YouTube account. Just search The Polish Heartthrob. A lot of videos, a lot of media content. I'm constantly posting and trying to improve. So, yeah, please follow along. Shoot me some messages if you have suggestions or just want to chat or connect. I'm always willing to embrace fans, and I appreciate the support, like I said.
Okay. That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming in and spending a good 35, 40 minutes here at WVLP.
Dziękuję. Again, thank you for having me. I guess this is do widzenia.
I will agree. Because I know what's good for me.
I don't have vodka here, but I'd also say Nastrovia.
So at Backbreaker Wrestling, hopefully I will be setting up shop with the table and the recording gear and doing for that show what I'm about to try to play again for RCW here, so people can hear what went on at the end. So if you're so moved and you see the table with the microphones, come on over and say hi. And
absolutely.
We'll take it from there.
Come check out Backbreaker Wrestling, Griffith.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Have a good night. And this is the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program on WVLP 103.1 FM. The original plan was right at the end of the Polish Heartthrob's match with Jorge Bravo, the audio from that. I was going to pause the recording. Didn't quite go as planned, so I'm just going to restart the program and hope I can kind of jump into it right about at the place where we left off, and we'll see how it goes. It is. I'm going to skip a little farther ahead. and now I'm not going to touch it. We'll just let it go from there.
You heard this.
So you could. He's screaming because of what you're doing to him at the moment. So
Calling for the pole lock. So
there we go.
Enjoy the show, folks.
Okay, thank you. So just like at the last RCW show, Jorge Bravo opens up by coming out and demanding a spot on the show and goes away empty-handed as a result. This time courtesy of the Polish heartthrob, Jared Skalka.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. It is a six-man scramble golden opportunity.
The booing you hear is not because of the six-man scramble announcement. It's because Ref Ray just came out to the ring and he got greeted with a big chorus of boos. I don't know why. He's a lovable guy.
Once again, this is a six-man scramble golden opportunity match. The winner will challenge Noah Walker for his United States Championship later on in the evening. Are you ready, Mr. Walker?
So the winner of this six-man scramble will face Noah Walker for a championship later in the show, with 6 people about to be announced. The introductions will probably take about 10 minutes, so I'll check back in with you in a bit. So the introductions for all 6 men took about 7 to 8 minutes. They're all in the ring. There was already an attempted pinfall pretty fast, but not enough time has gone by to wear somebody down. So the 6 men in the ring, you have the Celtic Nightmare, Ty Romine, Jeff Steeples, Mr. 3%, John Hudson, Donnie Primetime, and the first Amish wrestler I've ever seen. I've watched him a couple of times before, but he's still the only one. Levi Everett, who came to the ring with a butter churn. He did not hand any out, though. Oh, and 4 guys are on the floor outside the ring, and Levi Everett's up on the top turnbuckle facing outside. Is he going to do it? An Amish dive bomb. So Donnie Primetime is the only one left in the ring, and he's warming up for a dive too. Into the corner, up and over the turnbuckles. And a splash onto the other 5 guys. So all 6 are on the floor outside the ring now. Yeah, Everett, Romine, and Primetime are the first 3 to get back. After a flurry of offense from Donnie Primetime failed to put down Jeff Steeples, Jeff Steeples turned the tables on Donnie Primetime and squashed him into the mat for a 3 count. So Jeff Steeples gets a title match with Noah Walker later in the show. Impact Wrestling's Hernandez has been introduced. He's coming to the ring. I don't think he's here for a match. He's shaking Ryan Anderson's hand, and I think he's going to ask for a microphone.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What's up, guys? It's my first time in Indiana. You guys are a hot crowd. Can I get you 4
And before Hernandez could really say anything, he's being interrupted by Russ Jones.
Congratulations, you finally made it to my town. It's your turn? Hey, let me backtrack that. I don't think these people, they're morons, obviously. For money. Yeah, you do worse for money, impossible. But since you're in the town that I'm running, I think it's about time that you learn what I'm all about.
That's a very good answer, Sammy. You're the champion of this town, right? You're the man of this town, right? Well, come in this ring and show me that you're the man here. We do it right now. We do this match right now.
Russ Jones asserted that this is his town.
Probably if I'm just not ready.
Hernandez called him into the ring, and he pretended like he was going to go in, but now he's stepping away.
I ain't even picked up. I don't think you're ready either. Look at you.
So this is your champion. This is the boss of this town. The champion of this town cannot wrestle right now because he doesn't have a belt.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, Russ, when you get your title, don't forget your balls, too.
Hernandez liked what a fan yelled out to Russ Jones so much, he had the fan come forward and say it again into the microphone. And then Hernandez just handed the microphone to a little girl in the front row as he left the ring area. The girl's like, "What do I do with this?" But now Ryan Anderson is out there to take it back. The next match is the self-made man Douglas Stout against Tank. Tank made his return to RCW at the last show a month ago. And Douglas Stout is trying to put him in a suplex. And Tank's midsection is round enough and large enough that Douglas Stout can't actually lock his fingers together around it. So that was a big fail. And now Stout's getting dropped. So not only did Tank win that match, but he found money in Douglas Stout's gear. But instead of keeping it, as Douglas Stout was still laying prone on the mat, Tank wiped the dollar bill in a certain fashion that shall remain undescribed, and then shoved the bills back into Stugla Stout's mouth. That was just rude. More boos for Ref Ray. Waiting in the ring is Unchained Brandon Day, and out is coming his opponent, Mojo McQueen. Mojo McQueen is carrying a skull and a voodoo doll. Pretty large voodoo doll. Fortunately, he is not carrying the big box of blue stink that he's had the last couple of times I've seen him, because that stuff would have just filled this whole room with blue smoke, and it smells bad. And he gives the skull to a nice gentleman in the front row to keep safe during the match. I don't know, man. If somebody named Mojo McQueen...
By way of the land of the dead, Mojo the Voodoo King!
So yeah, if somebody known as Mojo the Voodoo King who's carrying a big voodoo doll gave me a skull, I think I might decline. Just so things don't come in the night for me. I feel like I'm talking loudly. It got really quiet in here. Nobody's looking at me, though. That's good. Oh, McQueen has his skull back. He brought it into the ring. Ref Ray doesn't quite know what to make of it, but nope, Ref Ray took the skull away from him. Oh, McQueen was about to slam Brandon Day, but the ref had his back turned while he was putting away a foreign object that had come into the ring. Brandon Day kicked McQueen down low and rolled him up for the pin. Surprise break. That was the end of the first half of the show. It's intermission time. Revolution Championship Wrestling's Golden Opportunity show from this past Friday, May 17th, at the Battelle Center in Mishawaka, Indiana. It's a great venue for a show. As you can tell, the acoustics are pretty good. In fact, they're so good that there's a lot of reverb and echo. But hopefully everything is still relatively audible. So it's about 8 minutes for the top of the hour here on WVLP. It's a Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, and I'm going to start playing the audio from the second half. I don't know that I will be able to finish. I know that I won't be able to finish the entire second half of audio before the top of the hour, when I need to relinquish control of the board and turn things back over to regular WVLP programming. However, keep an eye on the NWIWRAP, NWIWRAP YouTube page, and then you'll get the full audio posted there for your listening entertainment. But here, you'll get what you can for the next 8 minutes or so before the top of the hour, the second half of the show at Revolution Championship Wrestling this past Friday night. The start of the second half is the match set up in the first half, with Jeff Steeples now taking on Noah Walker for Walker's RCW North American title. Steeples didn't even let the introductions get finished before he attacked Walker from behind. The bell has now rung, and Steeples has thrown Walker out of the ring onto the floor. You can hear the crowd getting behind Noah Walker, who has big Jeff Steeples in a chokehold, trying to get him to either submit or become unresponsive. Sort of a front chancellery headlock kind of thing. But Steeples manages to throw Walker forward and onto the mat, so that hold is broken. But Steeples is sluggish. Walker delivered 2 kicks to the face and a windmill punch and puts away Jeff Steeples. This is for the United States Championship. I think I might have said it was the North American title before. Noah Walker was outsized in this match, but not outskilled. He hangs on to his title. Being a grudge match, this match started quickly, even before the bell. Nick Cutler came to the ring, soaked in the adoration of the fans, or not, for a while. And then Roger Lanier was to get introduced, but he didn't wait for the introduction. He rushed the ring and attacked Cutler, and he has the upper hand at the moment. But Roger Lanier against Nick Cutler in this grudge match. Well, it is a grudge match. Nick Cutler spit at Roger Lanier. That set Lanier off. He was going after Cutler rapidly. Ref Ray tried to settle Lanier down, but Lanier shoved the ref. And while the ref was recovering, Nick Cutler grabbed something, maybe knuckles, and hit Roger Lanier and put him down for the 3 count. So Nick Cutler has won the grudge match, but not in a clean way. But hey, what do you expect in a grudge match, right?
On August 16th, I am bringing in, just got off the phone, the former TNA and NWA Tag Team Champion and former Impact Champion, Cowboy James Storm. That's the NWA. August 16th. Follow our Facebook and our Twitter for more information in the upcoming weeks. Thank you.
So we have a fatal 4-way tag team match for the RCW Tag Team Championships, which means 4 tag teams coming out, 8 people altogether. School year's out, I can still do that math. But 4 tag teams coming out. The intros are going to take a while. I'll check back in soon.
They are the team of Mr. RCW Kevin Storm, Captain Bruno Brutus Dillon. They are the reigning and defending RCW Tag Team Champions, Biggie Smalls.
All 4 teams are in the ring. The current champs are Biggie Smalls, Brutus Dillon, and Kevin Storm. Then you've also got the Thieves of Greatness, Hot Country, which is Cletus Farmer and Fireball. Thieves of Greatness is Sadan and Theo Storm. And a team called Awesome Odyssey that I'm not familiar with.
very short time in, we've already had at least 2 people go up and over the top rope to the outside on top of everybody. Sedan with a big splash over the top rope onto 7 other people. Now Theo Storm's going to give it a try. Oh, he even does a swanton bomb. The ref is just kind of wondering what's going on because he has no control over this match at the moment. Now Brutus Dillon is encouraging Kevin Storm to do the so. There goes Brutus Dillon. Nope. But Kevin Storm, yep. He just did a rolling cannonball over the top rope onto the crowd outside. The referee still has his hands up like, who stole my lunch? What's going on here? Cletus Farmer and Theo Storm, now the 2 men in the ring by themselves. Maybe we'll get some semblance of a regular tag match at this point. The Thieves of Greatness, Sedan and Theo Storm, have by far been the most active in this match in terms of tagging in and out. They even ended up with 1 fewer tags than they ought to have because at one point Theo Storm wanted to tag Sedan, but Sedan was talking to somebody at ringside and missed the fact that his tag team partner wanted to swap. But they've been in and out multiple times, beating on multiple different opponents. So of the 4 groups up here, they're the ones that seem to want it the most. Brutus Dillon came in the ring, attacked everybody around him, set up all 4 corners with somebody in the corner, and then proceeded to splash all of them. And then 4 people at once just all kicked him in the head simultaneously, so he's down. The Thieves of Greatness, they're still at it. They're standing in the ring with Kevin Storm. Everybody else is outside. Ooh, Kevin Storm just kicked out for a 3 count right there. Uh-oh. Fireball and Cletus Farmer were both in the ring at the same time. Fireball caught one of the people in Awesome Odyssey when he was trying to do a splash. As he swung around while he was carrying him, the feet of the guy from Awesome Odyssey hit Cletus Farmer in the head, knocked him out of the ring. Fireball was checking on Cletus, and while his back was turned, Brutus Dillon clobbered him and got a 3 count. So Biggie Smalls remains tag team champions in RCW. After an accident between Fireball and Cletus Farmer of Hot Country. Well, Cletus and Fireball are leaving the ring. So far, no drum. Cletus just asked, did we win? Cletus looks a little bit bewildered. They're both facing the audience. Fireball is standing behind Cletus, and there we go. Fireball just clobbered Cletus. Now he slams him into a pillar. And Fireball just leaves Cletus laying on the floor. So much for the tag team of Hot Country. The theme of the evening is premature attacks. Hernandez of Impact Wrestling got welcomed to the ring by Ryan Anderson. Russ Jones started coming out. When he approached the ring side, Hernandez dove over the top rope and attacked him. And just now the bell rings. Hernandez versus Russ Jones for the RCW Heavyweight Championship. This is the main event. I think it's going to be a hard-hitting affair, as they say. I miss Lucha Underground. Oh, man. Vicious headbutt from Hernandez to Russ Jones. Dang. I mean, they're both bald. There was no hair to cushion that. And that was Hernandez showing Russ Jones how to do a chop. Russ Jones and Hernandez were tangled up near the ropes. The referee was trying to break him up. While the ref was facing outwards, Russ Jones raised his foot rapidly behind him and got Hernandez in a delicate situation.
The Alpha King, Russell Jones!
And now Russell Jones retains his heavyweight championship in RCW.
We want to say thank you for coming out and being part of the revolution.
Let's get a reminder from Ryan Anderson of the next shows.
The 4-H Fair in South Bend, Indiana. Be there for an incredible night of pro wrestling action. And once again, we have the masterpiece, Chris Masters, July 2nd, 7 p.m. next Tuesday. Free admission. That's right, free show, huge event. Then July 20th is our 11th annual Slam Cancer event. All proceeds are being donated to Hospice of Michiana. And then August 15th, James Storm, that's right, Cowboy James Storm will be in action. Please stay tuned for upcoming news on our Facebook page, Revolution Championship Wrestling. If you need any information, see Melissa at our booth. Get your t-shirt while they still last.
So July 2nd in South Bend at the county fair, RCW is having a free show. And then later in July, I believe the 20th, it's the 11th annual Slam Cancer Benefit. I think I've been to the last two of those, so I better not miss this one coming up. It's one of my favorite shows of the year. Big fundraiser for hospice programs in this area. I'd like to shout out to RCW because when I arrived here, they'd said, yeah, you can come in and record the show. They had a table set up and waiting for me, and that was really nice, so I appreciate that. Also, a shout out to ring announcer Ryan Anderson, who's been on a weight loss quest, and it's been real successful, and you can tell. So good job for him. Keep it up. I'm Ken the Metal Professor. This has been Revolution Championship Wrestling from the Battelle Center in Mishawaka, Indiana, the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, signing off.